Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple A's podcast. I am your host who bleeds purple and gold, Isaac here. So, there's been a topic around Vikings Nation and Vikings media, for the possible outcome for the Vikings to acquire a couple of players, Matthew Stafford and Myles Garrett. I've never covered it before. There's been a lot of talk, but I'm gonna go ahead and cover it right now today. I'll give my reasons why I think this might be invalid or valid for the Vikings or would make sense. But for basically to start off with Matthew Stafford, the quarterback previously of the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions, he now basically, it may sound like a good idea. Both of these ideas may sound like, oh my gosh, if we get Matthew Stafford and Myles Garrett, this team's going all the way to Super Bowl, period. But, well, I have to disagree and say no to both of those. Because here's why I say no. Matthew Stafford, okay, he is an older quarterback. I don't think, look, and he's played his best football with Sean McVay, and he's made it to the playoffs every single time. I believe he has four or five playoff wins with the Rams and has a Super Bowl ring. That's pretty good for Matthew Stafford to not have that with Detroit. He was not set up for success, so Sean McVay came in and coached him up to the best of his ability, which is great, But for the Vikings, I don't know if that's really gonna work out. I'm gonna disagree with some of y'all. Maybe if y'all agree with me, great. All right. If you disagree or agree, all right, that's completely fine with me. But I'm gonna say no to Matthew Stafford just because you already have a young rookie quarterback. Because here's the thing. You already have a young rookie quarterback. You already have a backup in maybe Nick. I don't know if they keep Nick Mullins or Jaron Hall. Or maybe they keep Sam Darnold as their backup. But you already have a plethora of backups. Because Matthew Stafford is probably not going to be a backup caliber kind of quarterback for the Vikings. He'd be a starting material, which means we would have to wait maybe another year to get the JJ McCarthy experience in the regular season. I would rather take my chances with JJ McCarthy and see how well he does. And because really, I don't think Matthew Stafford would really accept that anyways as an insurance policy behind JJ McCarthy. I would rather, as crazy as it may sound, with Daniel Jones. I would be fine with Daniel Jones as the backup behind JJ McCarthy because who knows what the ceiling of Daniel Jones is. Who knows? Because the Giants, Brian Daboll is a good head coach, but the rest of them, no, they're not that great. But I would say maybe I would go with that risk and say Daniel Jones and JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy as the starter, Daniel Jones as the backup. Not McNull. Maybe Nick Mullins as the third string, maybe, but Matthew Stafford is not going to be anything less than a starting quarterback. I feel like that's not going to work out for the Vikings either way even if they do try to. And then the Myles Garrett, I'm also going to have to say no just because, alright, yes, I get that. That sounds sexy, to have the pairing of Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, Patrick Jones, and Myles Garrett in the mix. That sounds like a good idea. The reason why that's not a good idea. Number one, if you are saying that the Vikings are gonna try to plug him in an edge rusher to a defensive lineman, that isn't gonna work. Because most of the time, there's never been a time where the Vikings switched a position from their natural position to another one. They did that with Mike Remmers. in 2018 where he was a tackle, and then they moved him to guard, and then that turned out to be a crap show. And so I don't think it's going to be any. I think it's going to be a downgrade, and it's going to be a waste of time getting Myles Garrett and plug him in at defensive tackle if that's the philosophy that we are going to bring. And plus, we already have enough. And two, we have productivity at edge rusher already. So I don't think that's a position already of need because you already got Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, and you got Patrick Jones II, who have already done a good enough job for production in getting after the quarterback, getting sacks. They've done a good enough job. You don't need another. I don't think that's really going to be a wise idea because I want a well-balanced team. Okay? I mean, cornerbacks maybe, yeah. Yes, I do think differently about cornerbacks, but a defensive lineman, you need good defensive linemen because Myles Garrett plugging him in at defensive tackle is not going to work. You're going to need to draft one naturally, not just an edge rusher where you can just plug in a defensive tackle. You need a defensive tackle at its natural position because Myles Garrett, even though that may sound good, we could maybe cut one of them. Maybe if they are, maybe. But I would still love to see what Bo Richter will do. Okay? I would really love to see what Bo Richter can do because he shined in the preseason. I would love to see exactly what he is all about as an undrafted free agent. I just want to see. I want to see what this dude is all about. I want to see him. Jonathan, and also not to mention, I forgot to mention Dallas Turner. He's a star in the making too. And Bo Richter. You need those guys out there. I don't think he'd accept a 1-year deal maybe. I don't know. But I would rather keep it balanced with the limited picks that the Vikings have. And it's nothing to worry about if the Lions or the Eagles pick it up. I don't like either of those teams, but I'm not worried about that. I am worried about what the Vikings are going to do their team. Those things are secondary and what other teams get. So I understand if you guys are scared of the other teams, but I'm not scared of them at all. Even if they do pick up Myles Garrett, the Vikings just have to do their own thing, do their own business. So I feel like that is basically my philosophy is balanced defensive lineman play and linebackers. And I mean, just anything, man. You need a balanced team. Simple as that, really. Because you can't just have one side be really good and then the other side pretty bad. You got to have it good and then good for edge rushers, for defensive linemen. It's just as simple as that, really. I feel like they should do that. I feel like they do not need Matthew Stafford or Myles Garrett. They have other priorities set before them, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skull Vikings.